Here's what's wild. 71% of employees say they'd rather get negative feedback than no feedback at all. And 99%, basically everybody, wants their manager to just tell them the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. But here is the reality. Most leaders aren't doing it. Instead, I see people blindsided all the time. They think that they're doing fine all year because they haven't heard otherwise. And then suddenly they're hit with a surprising performance review or even a termination. Making your people guess where they stand is honestly just one of the most cruel things you can do as a leader. And I know you don't want to be that kind of leader. You want the best for your people. But I also know that giving feedback can feel so hard. It's uncomfortable. You don't always know what to say or how to say it. And the truth is, silence in the moment just feels safer, right? Avoidance. And I get that because that's exactly where I used to be. But when you have a clear and kind way to give feedback, it changes everything for you because your team feels motivated, they feel focused because they know where they stand, and you don't have to carry around this stress of avoiding those conversations anymore. It doesn't keep you up at night or make you feel those Sunday blues before going into a Monday. And that's what we're going to talk about today, how to move from silence to support so that you feel equipped and your people feel empowered to grow and thrive. And along the way, I'll share references to my clear feedback model. So if you want the template that goes with it, I've made it for you. It's free. You go to heycarolist.com/feedback. I've also linked a full episode on the model in the show notes. So you can go ahead and check out that video, grab the feedback template. So when it comes down to it, the people you manage really just want to know two things. They want to know, am I doing a good job here? And do I have a future here? And maybe you have been in that spot before, or you know someone who has, where you're worried that your contract might not be renewed, or you just have like this creeping feeling that you might be on the chopping block. And that kind of uncertainty can just make you crazy. So a couple episodes ago, I talked about this idea of the stories that we tell ourselves. And this is exactly what I mean. Whether we like it or not, we all make assumptions about the situations around us. And when we don't get clear feedback about how we're doing, we start to fill in the blanks for ourselves. And our brains, they are wired to hate uncertainty. In one study, people were given either clear negative feedback or this vague, ambiguous feedback. And you know what? The ambiguous feedback actually triggered more anxiety in the brain's threat center than the straight up negative news. So yes, most of us would just rather hear the truth, right? Even if it stings a little. I'll give you a personal example. Not too long ago, we discovered that one of our kids has a sensory processing disorder. And at first, those words were hard to hear, right? It meant that the signs, the things we had been noticing weren't just like kids being kids. It was something real. It was something with a name. And hearing it out loud made it feel heavy. It was unknown. But then we discovered that it was really a gift because once we had that clarity, we knew how to help him. And we got him into OT and PT, and we learned how to parent him in ways that set him up for success. And now I'm so thankful for that information, right? Even for that hard news, even though it was tough at first, because it took away this constant uncertainty of wondering what was going on with him. And that's the power of clarity, right? Hard truth can feel heavy, but it helps us know what to do next. And knowing what to do next feels really good. Silence, on the other hand, traps us in that uncertainty and it just makes it harder. Here's a little maybe like less serious example. You know when you text someone and you're just asking for a favor and they don't respond right away? And instantly your brain goes to like, oh no, was that too much? Did I overstep? Should I have not asked? Should I send a follow-up being like, oh hey, no pressure, or like, never mind. And then 15 minutes later, they text back and they say, sure, no problem, right? Nothing was ever wrong. But in that silence, your mind started spiraling. And the same thing happens in leadership. When leaders don't give feedback, the silence creates two kinds of damage. So for underperformers, it convinces them that they're doing fine when they're not. And for high performers, it creates doubt. So think of it like this. Imagine that you are a great chef, and you host a dinner party and you spend all week curating this perfect menu with multiple courses and wine pairings. It's making me hungry thinking about it now. You spend all day cooking and then you're plating everything so it looks like it should be on a Pinterest board, and you serve the meal. Your guests, they eat, they're laughing, they're chatting. As far as you can tell, they're having just the best time, but then they leave and not a single person comments on the food. What happens next? You start spiraling. Was something wrong? Did they hate it? Did they notice all the care I put into it? And suddenly you're questioning something you were once, even hours before, totally confident in. That's exactly what silence does to high performers on a team. It makes them second guess their strengths and it undermines their confidence. So when you think about it like that, it's clear, right? Telling people where they stand really is best for them. But even knowing that, most of us still struggle to do it, right? And usually it comes down to two reasons we struggle. And the first is that we just forget our people need to hear it, right? This is especially true with positive feedback. It's like with the chef. You might think, well, if you're a professional chef or even just a really great home cook, you already know you're good. Why do I even have to tell you? But the truth is we all need recognition, right? We need to know what good looks like, and we need to know that what we do is seen and what we do is valued. And our high performers, they often get the least feedback because they're not the problem, right? They're not the ones taking up our attention, but they need it just as much as anyone else. It just looks different. So the second reason that it's hard is that giving constructive or even just flat out negative feedback, it feels icky. It feels uncomfortable, right? We can know in our heads, we can say, this is good for them. We know it, but in the moment, it doesn't feel good to us. And you might worry about their reaction, right? You might think if they get upset, like, what am I supposed to do next? What am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to say like, trust me, this is for your good? Of course not, right? That'd be ridiculous. But here's the truth, friend, it's not about you. Even if it feels icky, even if they don't respond well, it's not about you. It's not about your comfort. It is about them. It is about their growth. And sometimes it takes days, months, or even years before someone can look back and realize, wow, I'm so glad that they told me that. And I'll never forget when I was in my early years of executive leadership in a nonprofit, a board member who was a friend gave me feedback in just 5 words. I'm telling you, those 5 words changed me forever. He said, "You don't listen very well." And you know what? He was right. And for some reason, in that moment, on that day, I was able to receive it. I was ready to hear it. And I believed it. And I committed to change. And, I'm sure he didn't enjoy saying it. He didn't want to say it, but I'm so, so grateful that he did. So friend, if you don't tell people the truth about where they stand, what you're really saying is, I don't want to be uncomfortable. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to leave you in the dark. And that is not kindness. It's avoidance. It is self-preservation. And it's not the kind of leader you want to be. So we can think of all of the examples in our lives where we or our leaders have gotten this wrong. It has led to confusion and hurt and anger, or it leads to a lack of productivity, frustrated team members, or a lot of underperformance, or a weakening of the culture. And the list goes on and on and on, right? That's a lot of bad news. That's all the bad news. But the good news is that you can get this right. And when you get it right, everything around you just starts to click, and it's kind of magic. So I have a client who has a kind enough boss to come to her and tell her that she does not come across well to her peers. Like she has this fix your face problem, when what you think is just right on your expression for everyone to see. But not only that, it shows up in her tone of voice. So now that she has had that feedback, she knew she had to do something about it, and she did. So she hired me to be her coach, and in our time together, amazing things have happened, right? So she learned how to communicate her ideas and her thoughts without needing the tone, without the snark. And she saw a better way to get what she needed and even what she wanted. And it changed everything for her. It was truly one of the most amazing transformations. I'm so proud of her. I'm just honored to be a part of it. And it was really all because the first thing happened, which was her boss, who cared enough to be honest with her, told her. And I just want you to think right now, not only about the conversations that you might be thinking you need to have, but also about what would happen. What are the possibilities if you spoke the truth to your people with clarity and kindness and with support. I mean, what would be different about your team in a month, in 6 months, in a year from now? I mean, what would the exponential positive impact be for that person, for your company, for your relationship with that person, or even things as far out as your other clients or your product? I mean, it could be incredible. And I just want to say that when these conversations are necessary, specifically when you're dealing with a difficult or an underperforming employee, these moments can feel just like an interruption to your life and an interruption to your leadership. But friends, these moments are leadership. This is the real thing, okay? So maybe you have that person in mind or that conversation you need to have to help someone understand where they stand. And you're thinking, okay, great. I know I have to do it. I know it's what's best for them, but how do you actually do it? How do you give feedback that's honest and clear without sugarcoating it to make yourself feel good, but also without totally bulldozing the person? And the answer is you just need a framework. And here's why, because emotions get high, right? Yours, theirs, and it's really easy to get totally derailed by emotions. And when that happens, you might soften and back down, or you just might react and start rambling, and neither of those help. So what you want instead is to stay clear and confident and focused on what really matters. So the framework I teach my clients is literally CLEAR, CLEAR. And I'm going to give you like the 20-second version of it now, because again, I've linked the podcast episode on this in the show notes, and you have access to the free fillable template at heycruelest.com/feedback. But for now, here's the quick flyover. C stands for context. Where have you observed the thing you're addressing? L stands for lay out the behavior. What exactly did you see? What exactly did you hear or observe? E stands for effect. What impact did the behavior have? A is for ask a question. So this is when it becomes a conversation, a dialogue. You get their perspective. And R stands for resolve. So that's when you kind of answer what next? Like, where do we go from here? So here's a quick example. Let's say your employee, Jen, is getting some feedback from you. You say, hey, Jen, over the past few weeks, your work has had a lot of errors. And specifically, I've noticed there have been broken links and several typos in the weekly client email. And some of those clients have replied to those emails inquiring about the links. And not only does that require unnecessary work on their end, but it adds to the work on our end. And it just weakens their trust in our ability to provide what we've promised. So help me understand what's been going on for you in that regard, and what do you need from me to support you? And then after you talk for a bit, right, you discuss, you have this dialogue, then you get to the R, resolve. You make a plan for what comes next. And that's the CLEAR method. So if you have been nervous to let people know where they stand, I've been there, I understand, or you haven't known what to say, or you're just avoiding it, this week, friend, pick one conversation, just one, and use the CLEAR feedback template to plan your talk. Having a plan makes all the difference. It makes it fully about the other person and not about you or how you feel about it. You get it all out on paper. You can think it through. So that is my challenge to you. And these feedback conversations are just one example of conversations that if you get it right, it builds a drama-free dream team. And when I say drama-free dream team, I mean the kind of team that you can trust so much to not only get things done, but do it so excellently that when you have a vacation, when your kid is sick, when you have a family emergency or a wedding you want to attend, you don't think twice about doing it. You just go knowing that your drama-free dream team has it covered. So if you want to work with me to level up your leadership and do just that, build a drama-free dream team, this is all you have to do. You're going to email me at kara@caralist.co. And in the subject line, just write dream team. And you could say hi if you want in the message, or you could just leave the subject line and I'll know that you're responding to this. And I'll be happy to connect with you, learn more about your season of leadership, and just have a conversation. Okay, friend, the cruelest thing that you can do is not tell people where they stand. The best thing, the most kind thing, the highest impact thing you can do for your team, for yourself, is to tell the truth to your people and to support them along the way. You've got this. I fully believe that you do. And remember, it just starts with one conversation this week. So I look forward to hearing from you in my inbox this week. And until next time, just remember, I'm cheering you on. Bye.